5:30 having arrived, call the meeting to order. Stand and recite pledge of allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, we have budgets. Budgets. We have Memorial Day first. Which is otherwise known as patriotic purposes.
We have no one here to address this?
I'd like to budget $600, which is $300 more than last year. Flags for the veterans' graves and new large U.S. and POW flags for the cemeteries.
Great.
Works for me.
Good cause.
Moving on to personnel administration. $79,146 with an increase of $34.30. I believe that's all FICA
And Medi.
and Medi. Anybody have a problem with that one?
If you do, you're gonna end up talking to some folks in Concord.
Yeah. Revaluation of property, $84,060, down from $176,632, because we're not revaling again.
Correct. And what we also did was to take out of the assessing supervisor's pay from that and put it into TA.
Okay.
So will that be enough in there to handle
The contract for next year, right?
For avatars, we left San Souci in there because he's still doing Fairpoint and New Hampshire Electric Co-op representing us
On previous years.
on previous years. And Avatar will pick up
Okay,
forward.
great.
All right, and moving on to town administration. $196,194, down $5,364. Anybody have any questions?
We spelled justice of the peace wrong.
Okay, I will change it.
Yeah, they go only down to P's.
Yes, sir.
Is this presentation schedule solid enough to tell the budget committee that this is the order we'll be doing stuff in?
It's up to us.
Unless from the email that I sent out, there's a conflict with one of the departments, that will be what we will be doing.
Okay.
And unfortunately, I had to put a few more in than I would like because we're behind schedule.
No way.
Yeah, way.
Do not have a meeting next week.
No, we do not have a meeting next week.
All right.
It is a holiday.
Is it the 19th that the planning board is coming also, or is there not a date?
I have not heard from the planning board,
Okay.
but if they're on the list, then possibly,
I mean, they're on the list for the budget, but, so I don't know if we want
I could
to include that. at the same
contact,
time.
I will contact Fred and find out, but I have not heard from the planning board.
Okay. Anybody have any other suggestions for budgeting and scheduling?
Well, so the only other question is, we were talking about trying to put the, I think, fire, police, and planning on a regular reporting schedule.
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe should we start that in January, or when we're done with?
Get through this.
January,
budget and
probably.
then
Start the year with
start the year and then
quarterlies.
Stagger them
Yeah.
somehow?
Yeah, I can do
Go
that.
one a month.
If I could,
Yes, sir.
what we used to do was fire and police was a monthly status update.
Right.
That worked pretty well, and then we had land use and planning boards give us an update on a quarterly basis unless we had some hot topic. And planning, zoning, and conservation used to come on a quarterly and just give us a rundown of what action they were taking, any controversy they had, and that sort of thing.
Sure. Does fire, is monthly,
Monthly,
is that okay, or is
Yeah.
that too much for the other?
it works for me.
They used to give
Okay.
us
It used to be fine.
statistics and,
Yeah.
you know,
Okay.
what they were doing. if
I
they
will
were-
get a schedule set up for that.
Okay, so starting January.
All right, so unless anybody has anything else on the budgets, we'll move on to the regular business. Outstanding minutes for the 28th of September.
Motion to approve?
Second?
Moved and seconded. Discussion. Hearing none, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? I have accounts payable manifest in the amount of $97,778.16.
Motion to approve?
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you. All right, I have the agreement with Health Trust regarding the dental only. And it's just a continuing agreement.
Is that one signature?
And there is, I'd need a motion for the chairman to sign the agreement.
So moved.
Second.
Moved and seconded to sign the agreement with Health Trust regarding dental.
Just sign your name on.
Right. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Very good. All right, so we're back to the New Hampshire Association of Assessing Officials ballot. Jan sent out the website. I would say that we probably could just, if we're interested, well, I don't know.
Strong opinion.
I don't either. And I have so little of an opinion, I'd be afraid to vote for anybody. We'll table it. Co-op is asking for a poll petition for Mount Delight. And again, it would be a motion to approve the chairman sign the 4 forms for the one poll on Mount Delight. It's got a poll number. They're replacing it. It's an existing pole that they're replacing on Mount Delight Road.
I would make a motion that we authorize the chairman to sign the poll petition.
Second.
Discussion.
I assume the road agent has seen that too, don't they typically?
I assumed he had, I will,
I don't see any indication.
all right, then he didn't, and I apologize.
Want to withdraw the motion? We'll wait till next week.
Okay, I'll withdraw it.
Thank you.
Just sometimes they move them around and
Yeah.
put them in the wrong place on culverts and that sort of thing.
Jan would like to place the ad for the new bookkeeper in-house for the next 10 days, and then I guess if nothing.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll move it to the paper.
Great.
Be on like the public bulletin board here too.
Yep.
So they attempted to start refurbing, would it be this side?
Parks and Rec side.
The other side.
Who knew the wall was about that thick?
Okay. Gary Anderson started working on the Parks and Rec side of the George B. White building. When they started to remove the walls, they found the wall was one piece comprised of outside metal, foam insulation, and the interior wall. These are pictures of him cutting through. And they found that due to this development, Gary will give us an estimate on the cost to put 2x6 studs, regular insulation, and sheetrock on the walls. After conversation between Mark Tibbetts and Gary Anderson, Gary went back and refigured the quote to replace the doors, windows, 2x6 studs, regular insulation, sheetrock the walls inside the building up to and including the last door and window on the playground side will be $40,558. Gary is stopping at that point because trying to join the old with the new would be very difficult. Mark will be able to make up the 508 from his budget.
I went down and looked at it with Jan this morning, and it looked identical to the other sections that they replaced. The other sections all had 2x6 framing
Yeah.
behind them. This one section, literally, it's a panel. It's maybe 2.5 to 3 inches thick. That includes the interior and the exterior. When they took the corner off, when they took the corner molding off, you can basically look inside. There's a gap about that big. So it must have been leaking heat and everything else over the last few winters too.
So what's the solution, the temporary, what's he saying at the end? He said he can do what?
What he's going to do is take what's there off, frame it with 2x6s, put whatever they do on the outside for protection.
Yeah.
They're going to put regular insulation and then sheetrock on the inside. And because they have to do the framing and the sheetrock and more insulation, they're not going to be able to go all the way around the back as they had planned. And to just put in 2x4s and leave what was there is not a good idea. So,
No, they have to do it right.
yeah.
So we were figuring on being able to go all the way around. We're not going to be able to go all the way around.
Correct.
So next year's warrant article
Will consist of the back and
and the other side.
Yanni's side and
Okay.
Claire's.
Okay, thanks.
Thank you. There is a Northeast Resource Recovery Association annual meeting. Would the board like Rick to attend? It's something that really helps with the transfer station and things that are going on. I think it'd be a great idea for him to go.
Should have him go.
Been asked to read the following: poorhouses and town farms, the hard row for paupers. Following the example of England's 1601 Poor Law, the early colonies established almshouse and poor farms with those who had fallen on hard times were housed. Independent scholar and journalist Steve Taylor will discuss the dark chapter in New Hampshire's history, how paupers were treated in these facilities, and how reformers finally succeeded in closing them down. It's free and open to the public. Sunday, October 25th, 2 p.m. at the Deerfield Town Hall. The Regional Economic Development Center of Southern New Hampshire is looking for people for their steering committee for the 2016 CEDS, Comprehensive Economic Development Strategy for the Southern New Hampshire region. They're looking for nominees who either represent a private industry or business with their place of business within your community. The CEDS Steering Committee is a wonderful opportunity to network and learn best practices from other economic development specialists in the region and learn what your neighboring communities are doing. Yes, sir.
I don't know if he's interested, but a name that springs to mind would be Shane Carter. He's fairly active in a couple of similar associations as a builder. I would mention Chris or Wendy Nelson too, but I think they're probably more strapped for time than Shane might be, and Shane may have an interest.
Would you be willing to contact them and ask them?
Yeah, absolutely. And get a copy of that. I mean, unless the board has other names they'd like to.
Good choice.
Good choice. And then finally, we received a bill from George Sansucci to attend the hearings on House Bill 547. And in part of his bill, he charged us $312.21 to go to this.
Which he was going to anyway.
Our decision would be whether or not to pay the bill. Or, I don't think we should be paying it.
I think Jan should negotiate with him.
I think that's a good idea.
We
Something you
don't-
can do?
Yep.
We don't plan on it, but
Yeah,
discuss it.
perfect idea. All right. I'm reading, we did receive a letter from Peter McDonald in regards to the Veteran Resort Chapel. I guess in November of 2014, they applied to have space at the Deerfield Fair. And again, in September of 2015, and again, they were trying to get a nonprofit price for space at the fair. But my reason for bringing this up is that we all know that we are not connected in any way, shape, or form to the Deerfield Fair Association. But I wanted to say it here in a public meeting. The town of Deerfield has absolutely nothing to do with the Deerfield Fair Association. And while I'm sorry he couldn't work something out with them, there's absolutely nothing the board can do. It's not connected in any way.
Furthermore, that was handled in-house at the fair, since probably that letter was written,
Probably.
so it's all set.
Okay. Good to know. All right, town administrator's report.
Bill Bald from Melcher and Prescott will be coming in next week for an employee open enrollment meeting for our new health insurance on October 19th. Ms. DeBacco will be coming in from New Hampshire Listens. She did call, so I set it up. October 26th, we're having a public hearing for accepting emergency lanes on Hartford Brook and Bloomfield Road. We have worked it out with the attorney, Jeff White, the highway agent, so we'll be ready to go on that. And last that I have is Hazardous Waste Day is October 31st, and it's from 8:30 until the funds are exhausted.
Question, sir?
Not a question, but I think you should just mention regarding the health proposal, I think Bill Bald really found us a great option in the Harvard Pilgrim Plan. That's a New England-wide network. It's actually going to be a significant reduction from what we paid this year, and on the numbers that Jan sent out, if we stayed in the same plan we were in, we'd actually see a $20,000 increase. So I think the decision to go with the Harvard Pilgrim Plan,
Good deal.
great decision, and
Just, what all will we do to advertise the Hazardous Waste Day? I just remember a few years ago, there was.
it's on the
It is-
website.
It's on the website. It is, I've posted around town. I've sent a flyer to Evelyn at the library. I gave one to Kevin for when he goes to the post office tomorrow.
It's on the
And they all
forum as
say
well.
It's on the
8:30
forum until,
Until we run out of money.
and it's at the transfer station also.
Okay, great.
Good.
You don't want to be the select person that's there when they shut.
Trust
down.
me, you
Steve and I
don't
were
wanna
there for
do
the
that.
first one, and,
I wasn't on the
Physically
board, but I
restraining
remember
people.
that being a little stressful.
Oh, that was not a good day. What do you mean you ran out of money?
I think the sobbing was worse than the swearing.
And also the worst part is when that happens is that they just try and sneak over to the bin and dump it anyhow. All right. Any other questions for the town administrator? Any unfinished other or new business? Wow. We don't need a non-public session
No.
today?
We do not?
Before we go into citizens' comments, there were questions last week. Willie, the owner of the Penguin Mart, asked the town to change the type of Citgo credit card to Citgo Wex due to the fees charged by the Citgo card program was charging to the Penguin Mart. Town has transferred the credit cards from the Citgo credit to Citgo Wex. The original Citgo credit card was closed. With this new card, we are not charged taxes for the gas.
I just mentioned to Steve that Citgo has made a company-wide push to move all their fleet accounts to the Wex card system. You know, it wasn't just a random Deerfield.
The Wex gas bill does not accumulate points. It is the citizen's bill that does. The points are not the type to reduce the bill. Joe Manzi spoke with David O'Neill on prices for tires. David told Joe he could not match the price from Northwood Garage as they have the state bid, but he would put the tires on. David charged $20 a tire to balance and mount the tires. Northwood Garage price for Goodyear Eagle RSA 245 55R18 tires, $125.19 a tire. Can I get that price? Quotes for Goodyear Eagle RSA 245 55R18 was requested from the remaining garages. Deerfield Auto said his cost was double what the Northwood Garage sells tires for. D-Town quoted $204 a tire. He would balance and mount 4 tires for $100. Lars Transmission quoted $214 a tire and $15 to $20 a tire depending on the size for mounting and balancing. Hartman Oil was awarded the bid for diesel fuel. We receive weekly drops of diesel to the highway tank at the shed. Rhymes Propane and Oil was awarded the bid for oil and propane. The propane is for the central fire station. The oil is for the library, highway shed, town hall, south station, and the front and rear tanks at the George B. White building. The deliveries are on a schedule for each building. Yes, sir.
Wasn't that great news on the tires that we're doing it right?
Yeah, I thought so. $125 a tire. that is cheap.
And those are the police cruisers tires.
Right. 18-inch tires, that's cost maybe. That's really light. All right, if we have nothing else, citizens' comments? Mrs. Katie?
The Health Trust Dental Only, we have a dental credit. Will that show in the budget from Health Trust? Under the orders from the Supreme Court, the money we paid in, they had to pay back a certain amount, and there was a dental credit to Deerfield. Secondly, I don't understand how you can sit there with the George Sansucci bill. When I went in to look at the manifest, after you had voted to pay that bill, and I pointed out to Jan, why were we paying for him to go testify? She said, oh, we'll withdraw that bill. They were already on there and had been approved by Jan and your signatures. And if I hadn't brought that up, it wouldn't have been pulled back. And do we put out for bid the health insurance for the employees? Recently, the $3,500 paid by the taxpayers under enduring medical equipment for hearing aids. Really? I went through that health insurance, I never found hearing aids.
Anyone else?
Motion to adjourn.
Second?
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Thank you very much. Thanks, everybody, for coming.